Iran ignites. Anger boils against the supreme leader. Streets turn into battlefields. Clashes, chants, and fire. January 10th is day 13 of a nationwide uprising which is now shaking the Islamic Republic to its core. What began as unrest over Iran's economic crisis now turns into a full-blown battle against Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The protests are now marked by calls for the end of the clerical system that has ruled Iran since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, which ousted the pro-Western Shah. Online footage showed demonstrators marching in Iran's capital, Tehran. At Kaj Square, cars can be heard honking and a fire can be seen engulfing part of a building. Protesters took to the streets on Friday night, heeding a call by exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi for the second consecutive night. On Thursday night, exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi praised the nationwide turnout after millions took to the streets across the country and urged more Iranians to join coordinated protests at 8 p.m. on Friday. Following Pahlavi's call, millions of Iranians took to the streets across the country at around 8 p.m. on Friday. This even as the country enforced a widespread internet blackout and disruptions to telecommunications services. The Ministry of Information and Communications Technology said on Friday that the shutdown was ordered due to the prevailing circumstances of the country. Riots and vandalism have been reported in multiple provinces. Iran International reported a large fire in the city of Amol following nighttime protests by residents. Reports indicate the blaze involved the building of the Ofok Kurish store in Amol, Mazandaran province. Another video showed a sizable group of protesters on Ayina Khana Boulevard in the central city of Esfahan on Friday night, chanting, "Khamenei is a murderer, his rule is illegitimate," and the monarchist slogan, "Long live the Shah." Protesters also gathered in the streets in Tabriz as the sound of gunfire from government forces could be heard in the background. In Mashhad, crowds took to the streets, joining simultaneous demonstrations across many Iranian cities. Amid the U.S. threat to intervene, Trump issued yet another warning. He said Iran is in big trouble and Washington is watching closely.
How long do you think the Ayatollah will be in power after what we've seen play out on the ground there? When is the U.S. going to get involved now that reports of protesters being killed on the ground?
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it. We're watching it very closely.
According to rights group IHR, casualty and arrest figures climbed further to at least 51 people being killed, and more than 2,000 people have been arrested. The U.S. State Department warned Iran on Friday not to underestimate American resolve in response to the ongoing crackdown on protesters. Iran, in turn, sent a letter to the United Nations Security Council blaming the U.S. for turning the protests into what it called violent subversive acts and widespread vandalism in Iran. With the U.S. warning intensified protest, The question now echoing across Iran, are Khamenei's days numbered, and is a new era about to begin?
Iran's streets are boiling, its economy is sinking, and now its supreme leader has issued a rare and direct warning to the President of the United States. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has accused Donald Trump of bloodshed, arrogance, and interference, going as far as predicting his overthrow. As protests escalate inside Iran and global tensions rise, this is no longer just a domestic crisis. It is a confrontation playing out on the world stage. What began as isolated murmurs over rising prices has erupted into a nationwide revolt. Across Iran, streets once ordinary are now battlegrounds as citizens rally against economic freefall, runaway inflation, and the collapsing value of the rial. Protest chants echo through cities, defiance spilling into clashes, vandalism, and open confrontation with authority. This is no longer just an outcry over hardship, it is a raw, uncontained challenge to power itself. Against this backdrop, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei addressed the nation. His message was blunt and unusually personal. Khamenei accused U.S. President Donald Trump of arrogance and bloodshed, claiming his hands were stained with the blood of more than 1,000 Iranians. He warned that history shows tyrants are often overthrown at the height of their power. Khamenei did not spare Iran's protesters either. He accused demonstrators of destroying their own cities to please the president of another country. The supreme leader framed the unrest as foreign-driven chaos, alleging that vandals were acting to serve U.S. interests rather than Iran's people.
مزدوری بیگانگان رو تحمل نمیکنه. شما هر کی میخوای باش مزدور بیگانه که شدی، برای بیگانه که کار کردی، ملت تو رو مردود میدانه، نظام اسلامی هم تو رو مردود میدانه. این مربوط به اینها. اون بابایی که با نخوت و غرور نشسته اونجا راجع به همه دنیا قضاوت میکنه، او هم بدانه که معمولاً مستبدین و مستکبران عالم از قبیل فرعون و نمرود و رضاخان و محمد رضا و امثال اینها وقتی که در اوج غرور بودند سرنگون شدند. این هم سرنگون خواهد شد. کسانی هم هستند که کارشون تخریبه. دیشب در تهران در بعضی جای دیگه یه مش تخریبگر آمدن ساختمان متعلق به کشور خودشون رو خراب کردن. مثلا فرض کنید فلان ساختمان دیواری رو خراب کردن برای که دل رئیس جمهور آمریکا خوش بیاد. چون او گفته که حرف بی ربطی که اگر چنانچه دولت ایران چنین کنه من میام به طرف شما رو میگیرم، این طرف این اغتشاشگرها و افراد مضر برای کشور، این هم دلشون او خوشه. او اگه میتونه کشور خودش رو اداره کنه، تو کشور خودش حوادث گوناگونی وجود داره.
Donald Trump, meanwhile, has publicly threatened Iran over its crackdown on protesters. He warned that Tehran would pay hell if force was used against civilians. Trump also claimed Khamenei was looking to go somewhere, saying the situation inside Iran was rapidly deteriorating. The exchange has escalated tensions between Washington and Tehran at a highly volatile moment. At the core of Iran's crisis is its collapsing economy. Sanctions, mismanagement, and currency freefall have pushed ordinary Iranians to the brink. The rial has weakened sharply, savings have eroded, and basic goods have become harder to afford. What started as economic anger has now morphed into a broader rejection of political authority. The turmoil is no longer contained within Iran's borders. Ripples of unrest are spreading outward, forcing swift decisions beyond its skies. Turkish Airlines has grounded 17 flights to Tehran, Tabriz, and Mashhad, citing unfolding regional developments. The cancellations are a stark signal of mounting fears, of safety compromised, of uncertainty rising, of disruption taking hold. As Iran's internal crisis intensifies, its shockwaves are now reverberating across the region.